Oh hey, I just saw that new Supergirl movie by Craig Gillespie. This is a movie from DC about Kara, aka Supergirl, trying to find Krem, the leader of a crime syndicate who poisoned her dog, Crypto, all while taking care of Ruthie, a kid who's also trying to seek revenge on Krem. I was anticipating this movie, but it was also fused with some worry that I initially labeled as inside thoughts. 2025 Superman is, in my opinion, the best live-action superhero movie we've gotten since The Dark Knight, thanks to its forward-thinking ideas, its packed to the brim story, and some thoughtful political messaging laced in there as well. I've been naively telling myself since then that maybe this marks a new wave for superhero movies, rather than just getting slop from a pump 2 to 3 times a year. I was shocked how much this movie resonated with me, and I was equally shocked with how refreshing of a cameo Supergirl had. She's hilarious, a breath of fresh air from Superman's ongoing earnesty. Through her minute of screen time, we know as an audience, she hasn't figured out this whole hero thing yet. It's a bit of a worn out trope, sure, but who knows, maybe a Supergirl movie is what DC needs to flesh out her character. But this is more of a 1 step forward, 2 steps back situation. In almost every Superman movie, Superman has to learn what it means to be human because he's usually a perfect hero. I get tired of this. I'm typically not as interested in him as a hero, but what do you expect from an alien that's borderline invincible? Supergirl is the flip side of this. She's great at being a human. Flaws and all. She does human things all the time. But now she's learning what it means to be a hero. This is a low hurdle to leap over because Supergirl is stronger than anything else we see in this movie. It makes for dull action scenes. Almost every fight can be solved by her shooting lasers out of her eyes. She doesn't for some reason, but she could have homelandered all of these guys. It's not a moral principle against killing. There are several implied killings and she blatantly kills someone in this movie. So most of these fight scenes are dragged out for the hell of it. At least Kara herself is fun to watch. Millie Alcock brings a youthful, restless energy. A lot of the time when we see an alcoholic turned hero, there's this like jaded view of the world, but Supergirl more so embodies a young adult trying to find her purpose. Aside from a montage at the beginning, I wish the movie leaned more into the fun aspects of her character. She jumps into superhero mode as soon as Krem poisons her dog. Krem has a shitload of weapons. He looks like a character from Mad Max. But this hellscape monster criminal conveniently carries the antidote for Crypto on a necklace that he never takes off. It's also the only cure, which is unfortunate. Kara is likable, but she has a weak hero's journey, while Ruthie has a great hero's journey, but she's unlikable. Let's start with Kara. Her journey involves 2 main goals: learning what it means to be a hero and finding a home. Because she is all-powerful and has a sense of what's right, her learning what it means to be Supergirl feels underdeveloped. On the other hand, the backstory of how Krypton, her home planet, slowly deteriorated in her survivor's guilt feels more like an afterthought, as it completely interrupts our main story. Kara finding a sense of family never feels completely satisfied, not with Ruthie, because she acts more like a babysitter, and not with Superman because they hardly interact. Ruthie has a wonderful opening. Krem kills her entire family in front of her. It makes for this devastating scene, so we have a lot of reason to care about her journey. But she's annoying. She's a kid who spends the entire movie whining at Kara. A lot of the times, the movie will try and tell you that Kara has a bunch of flaws, and I'm not buying it. Ruthie will say something like, "You're mean, and you only care about yourself." But this isn't reflected in Kara's actions. Yes, she's sarcastic and reluctant to help Ruthie at first, just like every buddy adventure. But when Ruthie and Kara meet, it's clear she has a strong sense of morality. Not once did I believe that Kara was a deadbeat loser. The movie begins on a high note, and then it falls out of tune until you realize you're listening to something that sounds like Machine Gun Kelly. There are some scenes I adore. The opening sequence, Ruthie's entire family getting slaughtered, but the real winner is the bus fight scene. There are these space pirates that lead to this hyper action sequence. Not all of Kara's powers are active. She's witty, but not in an annoying way like you see in several Marvel movies and this movie later on. We also get a look at a lot of funny, unconventional aliens. Look at how uninspired all the glup shittos have been from the past 3 Star Wars movies. Supergirl has more creativity with its ugly aliens in one bus fight scene than a Star Wars. I wish we saw more of them. Towards the end of the movie, all we see is people. Fortunately, almost everyone in the universe speaks English, so I guess it really is the universal language. Jason Momoa pops up, maybe because the movie needed more star power. A few of my friends who are into comics love his character, Lobo, but he didn't strike me in any way. He is a pointless character. He didn't need to be in this movie. The story would have been the same without him. I mentioned earlier Kara's backstory on Krypton, and I think that's where the movie really stalls. Everyone on Krypton is dying of kryptonite poisoning, so Kara's dad builds a shuttle to save her. I guess he only saves his daughter. He probably could have saved some others too, if he felt like it. We're not given a reason why he couldn't. This backstory feels like one of many instances where Supergirl is trying to drag out its runtime. This might be compensating for its lack of substance. Supergirl also suffers a bit from its own flashy feminism. It's counterintuitive for normalizing women in superhero movies if we make a big deal out of them being girls every single time. Mostly in the beginning and middle of the movie, but a lot of fight scenes are set up on the premise of, I bet you couldn't beat this big scary monster because you're a girl. For how oversaturated superhero movies are, how has no studio figured out how to make a female lead on par with the greats? Why do a lot of these movies suck? If DC truly thought Superman and Supergirl were equals, why did Superman get the movie about the Israel-Palestine conflict and corporate elites ruining the world? While Supergirl gets the movie about learning to be a hero, they give Superman the important movie and Supergirl the popcorn movie. It's feminism that looks safe from a corporation. Superman faced a lot of criticism for the way it attacked political issues, mainly from the people it was attacking. So maybe you could argue that DC was making a safe bet this time around. But that doesn't exempt Supergirl from the fact that it's devoid of anything meaningful to say. The only thing that makes this wilder to me is that Krem traffics young girls. It's a pretty serious subject matter that the movie undercuts with him trying out his tight five during some pivotal moments. Why don't we go deeper into how this affects more than just one family? It might be impactful if we got to hear any of these victims speak a line of dialogue. And you know, he looks like a fucking Playboy Cardi fan. He's a bare bones antagonist. He's also not a threat because he's just some dude. It's not like Supergirl's an underdog or anything. As with any buddy adventure, there's a big blow up between Kara and Ruthie right before the climax. It doesn't affect the movie at all. It's a conflict that's resolved in the next scene. Supergirl is an hour and 48 minutes long, shorter than almost any modern superhero movie, and it wastes so much of your time. By the third act, it feels like the movie is grasping at straws for anything important to say. Supergirl is drained by a kryptonite sun because of course she is. The super rare mineral gets an entire sun. I get it. And so now Ruthie has to prove that she can be a hero. She has this escaping jail scene with Lobo making tired retorts throughout. And then the kryptonite sun goes away and Supergirl saves the day. During the climax, Supergirl gets shot with kryptonite arrows and she just kind of lets them hang in her punctured body for a minute. Why she didn't immediately pull them out, I don't know. Superman was fantastic, not only for its daring story, but for how willing it was to say something. Supergirl is the antithesis of what Superman represents. Although they're fragments of a great movie, Supergirl struggles to prove why it should exist. It's just like so many other superhero movies that want to appear like they're saying something while playing it safe. This started off great, things fall apart. I'm feeling a 4 out of 10, maybe a 3.